In the midnight glow where the stars align, we lose ourselves in the rhythm divine. Underneath the sky painted with dreams, we're chasing the echoes of silent screams. Caught in the spell of the cosmic night, where fantasies bloom in the pale moonlight. We'll let go of all that we know and dance in the stardust gentle flow. Dancing in the stardust, we're weightless and free in a world of wonders. Just you and me, lost in the moment. Our spirits ignite as we twirl in the magic of the cosmic light. Among constellations we'll find our way. Through the celestial symphony we'll sway. With every step we leave our cares behind. In this celestial ballroom mystic find, caught in the spell of the cosmic night, where fantasies bloom in the pale moonlight. Dancing in the stardust, we're weightless and free in a world of wonders. Just you and me, lost in the moment. Our spirits ignite as we twirl in the magic of the cosmic light.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to a stream that bridges the ancient and the now. Today we're diving deep into the cataclysmic and the cosmic. You know how much I enjoy this topic, the plasma apocalypse. Also known by some researchers as the Noah event. Was it just a flood or something far more electric? What if the heavens once lit up with plasma storms so powerful they etched symbols in our skies? Universal, burned into stone, myth, and memory. I reference an image that's been called fondly the Squatterman. It's a figure seen across the globe in cave carvings, petroglyphs, and ancient scripts. So tonight, let's ask, is the earth due for another reset? Are we at the end of the Kali Yuga? And do the ancient scriptures from all faiths whisper the same warnings? So let's go ahead and explore this together. I sort of took a break from this topic for a while, the apocalyptic studies. It was making me a little anxious. And so I had a nice break having conversations at my other channel, the Mad Chatter. And I get to host shows with What's Up, Cynthia. And it's been a lot of fun doing that. But I needed to get back to, I felt the need to get back to a topic that I enjoy talking about, which is the electric universe. Alki, peace and blessings be upon you too, my friend. And live and learn, it's good to see you. Wanted to start off with saying hello before I forget. Yes, I do have another channel. I'll put it here. This is what I use when I get to host. I host with What's Up, Cynthia. And the other channel is the Mad Chatter. And it's a channel that I have fun with doing live panels and other topics. It's been a lot of fun. Let's see here. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of things that are going to be new for me today. One main one is that I have a brand new computer. So bear with me as I'm still trying to figure out how to expand things and not expand them. Just bear with me. If anybody could let me know if my mic is okay, if my voice is too loud, or if the music's too loud. Come to think of it, we're going to switch music anyways. Okay, so we're talking about cosmic events today. There's something that I wrote down a few months ago when I was listening in on other astrologers' channels. And they were calling this alignment the Great Atom. So you can think of it like as an Adam and Eve, or an atom, A-T-O-M. And it says the Great Atom will stand on the axis of the equinoxes, or perpendicular along Midwest, a visiting sun/planet over Orion. And I wrote, at the end of June, Jupiter and the sun are at the cusp of Gemini and Taurus, when the planets line up in the cosmic cross. So I was able to share some of these photos with you guys that I took screenshots of from other sky watchers, but that was in June. And that's a reflection of the moon, not the sun. But the reason why I'm a little bit behind is because I was looking for the cosmic cross that I saw somebody else catch in the sun. But in my opinion, the sun and the moon are just a mirror reflection of one another anyways. But this photo, I've shown this a few times, well, probably more than a few times, but this was on that major eclipse that happened a couple of years ago. And isn't that a clever little image? Okay? Because in some of these, I'm going to show you lots of photos today. It's my album that I have labeled the Squatter Man of images that I've been collecting through the years, just to help us recognize the patterns and why I'm going to go where I'm going to go with this. So you can see the outer reflection of this eclipse. You can see whatever that is that's covering the sun. But it also looks like in the center there is something red right there. And that is something potentially that I think we will see again when the sun decides to go into a different transition. Or this other sphere that we've been keeping an eye on, which is, some people call it Planet X, for example, Nibiru. When this seems to happen, the weather intensifies here. A lot of wonky things, storms, earthquakes, volcano eruptions, and things like that. And so let's look at some of these stories of past cataclysmic events that showed us this image in the past. But before I do that, I want to show you some of these photos that people have been catching, which at the end of time, the end of the Kali Yuga, the end times, we'll see Ezekiel's wheel again. And the Creator's construct will reveal itself. And in biblical texts, for example, we are told these prophecies, these dreams that these prophets have. And when I've looked at images in the past and watched other streamers do fantastic jobs at sharing this information, I thought, oh my goodness, I want to get in on this bandwagon of information because it just feels right to me. It's instinctive for me, and it feels like the most fun puzzle piece of my lifetime of just trying to understand the creator's construct. But you can see this photo here, I take pictures of the sun every single week. And I understand that in my cameras, that when the light hits within it, it shows a certain reflection. But this one was really fascinating to me on how you can see the energy signature around the sun on this day. And it might have even have been around the time that someone caught this at night. Here's an amazing photo that I've shared before and on my community page of Ezekiel's wheel, or the construct, or as I like to call, the squatter man. And you can see up in the right hand corner. Do you guys see the similarity? Oops, I forgot to take this down. Okay. I think we'll see it, but not live around to tell about it. Yeah, I hope I don't. I agree. And yes, this is Mount Fuji. Hello, Arctic Timberwolf. It's good to see you over here at my channel, The Pixel Tea. You guys also know me as Yolanda. Let's see here. Let's get back to where I was before. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Okay, so I'm going to show you this photo again, or this image that I created for the stream. And it is my version of what I think religion is based from, which was this event that showed us the image of what looked like a stick figure in the sky. And I'm going to show you images of different artifacts and art, paintings, etc., stone pillars that show this exact image. And this is kind of where I'm going to go with this. I don't understand why culturally we're all fighting with one another over whose religion is the superior religion and who are the superior people. That's what I'm consistently seeing, the frustration in my pattern recognition is everybody's telling the same story. Every culture is telling the same story, but in different ways. Their cultures tell us in different ways. Okay, I feel that in my soul. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to take myself off the stage for just a minute because I want to show you the image again. Okay, so you can see that's the cosmic cross that was at the top. That's a representation of the different orbits that it takes throughout the year, which would give us these mirrored images in the angles of where the sun is at and what corner of the world, what equinox it's in. And when these spheres, these energetic spheres that we call planets, and as we know as planets, in my mind's eye, when those line up a certain way, it shoots this image. And it does what's in the right-hand corner. So you can see how it would look like a stick figure in the sky. So remember when I was showing you that red dot from the eclipse, that's what this image kind of reminds me of in the right-hand corner. Oh, I'll take myself off the screen one more time so you guys can see. Doggone it, I forgot to add myself to the stage. Anyway, in that image, you can see that whatever we know as what we've been told, what is a wobble or an angle of these different equinoxes, it gives us a mirrored image of those crosses in the sun and the moon. And it's been so fun to find those online who are sky watchers and they catch it in real time. It's a lot of fun. Kali Yuga is going to be an end of a time. Let me turn this down. Hold on a moment. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes. Okay. So let's begin with something electric. That's what we're talking about, is this electric universe. Plasma cosmology is a theory that suggests our universe and the Earth's cataclysms have been shaped not just by gravity and matter, but by plasma, ionized gases, and electric forces. Many independent researchers and mythologists believe that a massive plasma discharge event took place thousands of years ago. A heavenly eruption that was so intense, it manifested in the sky in the form of a radiant humanoid figure, which is what I was telling you is the stick figure. So the squatter man's legs and its arms splayed circular shapes above his head like a cosmic warning sign. This figure has been etched into stone by cultures that never met: the Hopi, the Australian Aborigines, the Norse, even ancient Sumerians. So what did they see? And more importantly, what were they trying to warn us about? So let's see some of these images that I've been sharing with you, or excuse me, that I've been saving and I'm going to share with you. Like I said, bear with me. I've got a brand new computer. Things are just in a little bit tiny different places. And I also am not doing a very good job at being able to figure out how to expand the image that I want to show. So again, here are some of the images that I've been saving. So let's rewind to what people know as the story of Noah, or the Utnapishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh. I totally screwed that up, but that's okay. I'm learning. Most cultures have a great flood narrative, from India's Manu to Mesoamerican flood tales, but what if the flood wasn't just water, but energy? So can you guys see this? Look at that energy shooting out, and it looks like there's a ripple and like the water's above. Let's see here. I want to find the right photos here. I want to get the right names because I don't want to screw this up. I'm sorry, I'm looking for something very specific and I can't find it. So I'll do it this way. Okay, so I really started to get fascinated with something called the Thunderbolts Project. That channel really opened up my eyes in the beginning to all of this plasma apocalypse stuff. I found that first, but I had been hanging around and doing pattern recognition with my friend Red Squid X. And I kept seeing a lot of these same images over and over and over again, and it was driving me nuts. I don't know how well you guys can see my screen or not. And I can't see the chat. But the Thunderbolts Project was co-founded by Wallace Thornhill. That's this gentleman here's information. And I watched this interview that he had done. And it was all about plasma and them recreating plasma in their laboratories. And look at these images. Remember that one that I just showed you of the sky where it looked like there was a ripple in it? So you can already see that's a torus field of energy. It's a location of a magnetic force. So I'm assuming that this image is also going to reveal itself again when something so energetically, it's so magnetic that we're going to see this again in the skies. I don't know if in our timeline we're going to, but here's just a different angle of that. So you could see down here on the bottom, lab plasma. And when I'm in meditation, I can see this in my mind's eye, and I can even see the torus field flowing. So to me, that's absolutely the creator's symbol of energy. Here's more. He was able to recreate this in the laboratory, but on the right-hand side are petroglyphs, which you can see here. These are copied from different caves, from the sides of mountains and stuff. And these are also images that we're going to see over and over again in all of the cultures that created the new god for these cultures. So see, this was an image. I remember this day when Red Squid X was showing us this, and I thought, okay, he's onto something in terms of seeing this image over and over again. That was in the very beginning too. I mean, even down to this. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire's record album. And it shows in the center where it's making it look like it's a UFO. But this reminds me of that image I showed you in the beginning of the sun, showing all the different layers of energies, which are what we know as luminaries. And the crazy part is that I heard this I am presence the day that I became aware to all of this stuff, and that's how it spoke to me, as I am. It was so awesome. And as I was trying to look for this image in record albums in particular, check this out. Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day, Electric Universe, they were already on it. Because this is forever information. This isn't new age, this is forever information. And it's being brought to our attention in clues. So, this is from David Talbot's book, The Electric Universe. And he's showing a time of when this particular alignment occur, but look at the very top. You see how that energy is surging down and it reflects off of what they tell us is a dome? And you can see the image of the energy shooting from above and below. So let's see here. Here's an example of a plasma image here on the side of a mountain. These are some more drawings. So here is, let me think, I want to get this right. Oh, so that plasma, or not plasma, the torus field, look at that. That's from the Nazca's antiquity. It's a stone. And on the right is a 3D electromagnetic simulation of the plasma profile contained with a 4-current quadruple at late time, all the stuff that goes along with the physics part. Here again, the cosmic thunderbolt that happens at the top when it occurs. This is on the right-hand side, a cave painting. On the left-hand side is the cosmos of a new star being born. And in the middle is just a drawn image showing how circuitry happens with the magnetic fields. And if you look at this again, the drawing, see that? Now look at this one. This is in David Talbot's book, The Thunderbolt Project. Boom. Shoots up that energy like that, creates a new, I mean, if I saw that thing and I didn't know anything about, that would be the new God. That would terrify me. So here, the limbs, plasma discharge. So here's this is when this event occurred. This is Sumerian. Remember that image that I showed you of that eclipse? Apparently, according to some of these people that have been studying this, they're saying that that was the time when Saturn was the ruling sun. All cultures showed us this. And they're not giving us an accurate timeline. This also does have esoteric, occult knowledge as well. Some say that this also represents the left and the right hemisphere of the brain aligning, and that when your chakras are aligned, just like the planets align, this energy arises up to potentially what is the mind's eye or their pineal gland, and you receive the I am presence from the experience. The Anunnaki apparently are a representation of the left and the right. Because look at this image. I've never really caught on to this before, but you see them holding the bags, the little purses on the left and the right. That's information. I've never paid attention to that before. Oh, come on, what's going on? There we go. So David Talbot is the one that has been giving us the idea of the symbols of an alien sky and the electric universe. That's, again, how I got started and I could see this. So see, here's in Asia, their version of that cosmic wheel in the sky, in the heavens, when things align. Egyptian. Or is it Egyptian? They're telling us that's potentially what it is, but is it really? I don't know. Look at even in the Popol Vuh. See the image? See the plasma discharge above it? There's those two circles on the side. The thing looks like it's squatting. Oops. So here's the Nordic Yggdrasil. There's the same image. It's a planetary alignment. It's showing you the constellations that it's in and everything. But see, there's that cosmic cross. So it says, an ash, I know, high Yggdrasil, the mighty tree moist with white dews. Thence comes the floods that fall adown, evergreen o'er tops. Earth's well this tree. Thence wise maidens, three betake them under spreading boughs, their bower stands. One is the height, the other the Verthandi. Skuld the third, they scores did cut. They laws did make, they lives did choose. For children of men, they marked their fates. So see, that's just an example of a culture's version of when this happened in their location and what they saw. This is, in my opinion, is a pole shift of energy. And it creates some major, gnarly things that happen, and it resets these different locations. So, like, even according to the Hindu cosmology, the word cycles through 4 ages. So there's the Satya Yuga, the Golden Age, the Treta Yuga, Silver Age, the Dvapara Yuga, the Bronze Age, and the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, which is the present. I better check this chat. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Cool. I see you guys in there. Rachel Zinger, I see you. Arctic Timberwolf. That's really cool that you guys, once you know, you know. Once you see it, you can see it. Right? And unfortunately, there's no going back after this for me. Oh yeah, I was talking about the different yugas. The Kali Yuga is said to last, I think they said 432,000 years, but some scholars suggest this is symbolic and that we may now be in the final phase as prophesied signs are unfolding. According to the Hindu, mass deception and corruption, loss of spiritual values, collapse of truth, natural disasters increasing. So are we nearing the next cosmic reset, a return to light after the age of darkness? I think so. They keep on referencing the golden age. And the golden age will return after this event is finished. So even in Christianity, the warnings, I'll just scroll through here if you guys can see. Luke 21, chapter 11, there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilence, and fearful events, and great signs from the heaven. Revelation 6, the stars of the sky fell to earth. The sky receded like a scroll. So we've been seeing a lot of plasma falling from the skies these last few years in particular. Back to the Hinduism, the Vishnu Purana, at the end of the Kali Yuga, Kalki will appear on a white horse and restore righteousness. So I think some of these images even show a horse. But again, this is you can see the religions here starting to sneak up on us. We're starting to see the Abrahamic religions being created. Even in Islam, in the Quran, when the sun is wrapped up, when the stars fall, losing their luster, when the seas boil over, that to me sounds like a magnetic pole shift. In Buddhism, prophecies of Maitreya, a Buddha to come during a time of global suffering to renew truth and dharma. The Hopi prophecies speak of a time when the world is out of balance and must go through purification by fire, lightning. And this stuff is all starting to sound familiar, right? Across traditions, sky signs, natural disasters, and a fall of morality are all signals that a great shift or a reset is near. See, this is years of me screenshotting photos and buying books. So, if this cycle is real, it's not about fear. That's what I've had to come to terms with myself. It's about the awareness. And the ancients survived and they adapted and they left us clues. So this might be less about doom. I was starting to feel this doom that was lingering over me. But I think it's more about an unveiling of an awareness. So this is from David Talbot's book, again, The Planetary Archetypes. Saturn is the all-encompassing sphere of heaven. Venus is the animating heart or soul, the feminine glory of heaven. Mars is the innermost reddish masculine heart of the heart. So we're starting to see that red dot return. Oops. Themes: primeval unity in the golden age, great conjunction of the first time, central sun as heart of creation, central sun at the celestial pole, Saturn as the ancient sun god, Saturn as a polar sun, creation as events seen and heard. Here's some of the themes: Venus as mother goddess, Venus as great comet, Mars as cosmic warrior, cosmic thunderbolt, Mars as world mountain, world pillar, primeval 7, world altering catastrophe. So like here, look at this is in Asia. I'm guessing China. But look at that. The cosmic Birkeland current filaments, magnetic energy contours, and plasma density. See how it's creating that swirl? We've been seeing a lot of these swirls happening in the skies, particularly with these gnarly storms that have been happening, which they were telling us the Earth is charging up. We've had a lot of global electric circuit cells of storms. The one that happened here most recently in my state was this crazy storm that happened at Lake Tahoe. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, and had something like 8-foot sized waves, and the boats capsized and 8 people passed away from it. But people showed video of blue skies and they turned dark really fast, and there was even snow, and then it was over. And again, it's these different solar storms that are happening as well encourage this kind of stuff. So when events like this kind of energy, poof, look at all that energy that comes out and radiates at us, and then you end up with what I was just talking about, global electric circuit style storms. Let's see, this is out in the desert, which I'm sure at one point was a a beautiful location of plants. Look at this ancient tablet. I think this is what's going on right now. We are spinning, and charging like crazy. There was a recent photo that NASA was sharing from someone that took an image, a photo up in an airplane of a thunderstorm and energy shooting up like that. But see, this is an ancient depiction. Some may say that this is an archetype of an alien being, but I see what I showed you earlier, which was this. That's what I see. That's what all of these are. Sumerian, Egyptian, Zoroastrian. See, Egyptian. I'm going to play a video at the end, one of my favorite gentleman's channels. And he's going to go give us an update on these artifacts and what these artifacts represent. Some may say that these are aliens. He's going to give you an example that this is a planetary alignment. These are constellations, and this is the sun. And there's that image of like a squatter man. But I mean, on the left and the right, these planets are in different locations. So, isn't it interesting what human beings do in terms of art to make things sense, for things to make sense to them? So here's another image of a torus field, and that's what I see when I'm in meditation. That is creation right there. Boom, that's what the heart's doing. That is one of the creator's main code. And as that's spinning, that's the Fibonacci sequence as well. But someone caught this last year. Again, Revelations lets us know that at the end times, we will see the Creator's construct reveal itself. The anode and the cathode, the alpha and the omega. Isn't that incredible? It's magnificent. And so you can see, this is just in terms of time. That's a time lapse in a day. Can you imagine we're in the beginning stages of this thing, this energetic sequence to go nova again and show itself all over again. I don't know if anyone remembered this stream that I did back like in, I think around December, but this is a high definition photo that they were able to take in outer space, whatever outer space is. And this is the creation of a new star. This is almost identical to the photo that they just released through NASA of a sprout bursting energy from a thunderstorm. So if this is a star being born, and this is also how we roll, energetically, these are all the chakras being activated, and this is like what's activating the spirit. So cool. Here's Asia. There's, in my opinion, that's that alignment. Here's in Hebrew. Oops. And I got these from Alki. If Alki is in the audience, But this is some alchemic information, some old alchemic occultism. This is the Kabbalistic teachings. But once you understand it, this is just telling you of an alignment. These are all the different luminaries. This is that eye in the sky. This is going to tell you the zodiac, the tilt, all of these things. It's even down here on the right, it looks like it's showing you an image of how when things tilt, how you see the shadows of these different spheres of energy. The ancestors were not stupid. Look at how intelligent that is. And that's all mathematics. That's the creator's language to us, is this mathematical codex. And I think that's what's the secret knowledge, to be honest with you. Arte magnetica obstricativum. I don't really read Latin very often. I bet you I butchered the hell out of that. See how they created this little guy into an image of a humanoid, but you see the torus field here in the middle. Headsets for tribes. Headpieces. Look at that. So you see the red around this? I'm going to shoot back up here. I need to be careful with for your guys' eyes. I'm going to go back to the Thunderbolt project. This here. See how they were able to recreate how the circuitry of the world and these spheres, when they activate, they create that image. So that's what that red headset reminds me of. This. So that was an era of those indigenous peoples. And I think up here, the very beginning, it's this. See, it was at that stage in that location. This is from David Talbot's book as well. Oh, okay. It's from an old treaty on an electromagnetism by the Jesuit. Okay. Well, look it. I'm not a college-educated person, but I've been having a hell of a lot of fun learning from these different occult books that we've been able to just listen to for free off of these websites. Let's see here. What does this one say? Evidence for an intense solar outburst in prehistory. Yeah, that's something I had screenshot from. Must have gone with this. Do you guys remember the movie The Dark Crystal? Look at what they're showing us in The Dark Crystal. That movie's all about an alignment that occurs. And I think it's about this, when this happened. Let's see, the Aztec, the Mayan, Hawaii. Okay, so what was I going to show you guys next? Enough of that music. I hope you guys were able to hear me through all of that. Let's check out this chat. Okay. Let's just take a breather here for a minute after showing all those photos. So what do you guys think so far? What do you think of this pattern recognition? Hey, what's up, Brett? It's good to see you, sir. I haven't seen you in a while. I've been taking a break. I was getting information overload. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to drop the link or not at this point. I just want to get all of this information out first before I do anything with a link, because I'll get completely sidetracked. But back to Christianity. So the biblical prophecies back to the book of Revelation talks about cosmic disturbances. The sun darkens. We've been seeing that happen with these black spots in the sun. So the sun darkens, moon turns to blood. We've seen blood moons as well. Stars fall and the sky recedes. So I'm wondering, when they're saying that the stars are falling, if that just means that there's plasma that's falling from the skies. Revelation 6, chapters 12 or verses 12 through 14. The whole moon turned blood red. The stars fell to earth. The sky receded like a scroll being rolled up. Earthquakes and fire, mountains collapse, islands vanish, and oceans die. Because I think energetically there's going to be so much vibration and power that it's what happens when you shift sand with your arms with that strength and that power. It flattens out whatever you had built, if you'd built like a sandcastle, for example. Fire rains from the heavens, Revelation 13. The seas turn to blood. We've already been seeing examples of the seas are changing because they're getting hot, and alchemically it's changing there. The animals are confused in the oceans. They're getting sick. The plants are dying. The temperatures are changing. So politically, they like to tell us that it's us, and so they want to tax us for changing, using too much carbon or whatever. But clearly, cyclically, it shows that this is going to happen regardless of whatever human beings are doing or animals. It's just going to happen. Judaism in the Old Testament, darkness and cosmic signs. So in Joel chapter 2, verses 30 through 31, I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun will be turned into darkness. So you see the patterns here. In Islam, in the Day of Judgment, they talk about natural catastrophes as well. The sun rises from the west. Smoke envelops the earth. So when I read that, it reminded me of when people were sharing videos of fog, weird fog last year and the year before, in locations that generally don't have dense fog like that, and that it had a strange odor to it. So I'm assuming, that the earth is releasing these gases. Let's see here. Beast of the earth, Dabat al-Ard, appears. When the sun is wrapped up, the stars fall. There's that again. When the earth is shaken with its final earthquake. Poof. So I'm guessing like when we do a Z pinch of energy, when things go nova. So I already referenced with Hinduism and Buddhism and the Hopi prophecies. I talked about the Norse. Just barely touched a little bit on the Mayan, but I've talked about that in the past. So they all have in common fire from the sky, great floods, celestial events, earthquakes, global darkness, moral, spiritual collapse, and renewal after this all happens. So let's go ahead and share. And what's interesting is that Ken's channel, let me put this up before I forget. Ken McClellan. He just released a brand new video as I was starting this stream, so I haven't even got a chance to watch it yet. But he's going to tie all of these artifacts together and tell you the constellations and the alignment with the charts and everything. I've played him in the past. Hold on a minute. There we go.
Welcome back to Apocalypse and Genesis. As far back as we can look, what's carved in stone, painted on cave walls, and written on clay tablets, there's a time in which this place gets baked by more than just Earth's usual source of radiation. For example, the ancient Sumerians, Maya, and Egyptians wrote of and illustrated an additional source of heat appearing at this time. Egypt began their history speaking of a new sun, their first king Helios being born 25,000 years ago. The way they put it was 23,000 years before Alexander crossed into Asia. See Diodorus Siculus' Library of History, Book 1. I think they were off a few centuries, just like the rabbis. Greeks referred to Helios as having a child named Phaeton, who temporarily took control of the chariot of the sun, wreaking havoc down here. The kid was something of a devil, known as the Phoenix, Ahriman, Typhon, Camazotz, Lucifer, Nemesis, Nibiru, Vulcan, Hercolubus, Quetzalcoatl, Viracocha, the Black Sun, etc. And it had to do with this time we're in, the time of the crossing, when the procession reaches one of its critical junctures at the quarter precession. When our history of the gods began, that juncture was the border of Pisces with Aquarius. 6,400 years later, it was Sagittarius Scorpio. 6,400 years later, it was Virgo Leo. 6,400 years later, it was Gemini Taurus. And this year of the great year, we have come full circle. It's again time for Apocalypse and Genesis. Today, I thought I would share a treat. One of my favorite people at one of my favorite places. Tamara Rose Lopez says,
a very deep sadness here at the beach, a sense of death maybe. I feel as if it was the ocean telling me that it was dying. Meditating as I stare at the sun, the colors purple and green come through, along with 4 to 6 other beings, soul-like energies.
I concluded Tamara's drawing was a snapshot of the first fall, though I'm not at all sure that's to be our final position as Earth settles in for the next 1,000 years. For example, there are places in the Bible and other ancient literature implying a full reversal is on the way, like Revelation 13:4 or 2 Kings 21:13 or Isaiah 24 or the hadiths of Muhammad. Decades ago, scientists at Remington Rand conducted an experiment to see how pole shift might work. What they discovered is that geographic and magnetic poles attract each other, but reach a point when they are suddenly thrown 89 degrees apart, restarting their approach. If Earth were perfectly spherical and perfectly balanced, that might be the final answer. But we don't know to what extent other forces might be involved, especially since no one official will admit anything is going on. About 40 BC, Virgil wrote this prophecy about our times. The thing about his phrase Saturnian times is that Saturn was regarded by the ancients as our North Star and our first father, like the first pharaoh Helios in what we could expect in the apocalypse. The ancients were so faithful to Saturn, it's like Earth was a moon to that planet or something. His image shows up everywhere. What I'm suggesting is that unless you're looking at Saturn and Apollo, the son of Zeus, there in the last line as being on opposite sides of the world, one more flip in our graduation might be in order. In other words, summer solstice sets us up for next Easter, a conception and gestation for the new God sort of thing. Here's a snapshot of our next solar eclipse, the one the stones say brings back Moshiach, or at least a representative of the divine council to straighten things out down here. I did a chart to represent what the sky will look like that day using a star program, not something generated by an astrologer. At the time, I assure you, the subject of astrology and trying to track precession's effects on the planets, but not on the sun and moon, made zero sense to me. However, there is something important in tropical astrology you could miss in the astronomy. Venus and Saturn were seen as married, He was Greek Kronos, Roman Saturn, Phoenician El, Hittite Kumarbi. She was Rhea, Ops, Ishtar, goddess of fertility and abundance. In Sumerian, they were Utu and Sherida. In Akkadian, they would have been Shamash, the Saturn sun, and Aya, probably Venus. To me, that's the interesting pair.
I just want to say thank you, Ken, for showing us these charts side by side like this. Isn't that neat, the way he shows us the artifact, the zodiac, and the graph for us to understand and tie together a culture's version of these warnings and these signs as to what's to come or happened then. And it's amazing to me every time I look at this, how cyclical and precise this is.
Shamash and Aya, because you can see where the story of El and his consort comes from, which later gets turned into Yahweh and Asherah at flip sides of the Tree of Life. So astrology most clearly links Saturn to Venus on the big day of Apocalypse in Genesis, day of the Messiah, if you prefer, which, yes, I know, nobody knows the day or the hour. Just for once, listen. We should pay attention to that deity of life because the hero of your Bible attaches Venus to himself, perhaps in an effort to relive the part of scapegoat in Isaiah 14. Approaching his birth, there were more signs, but this was the first sign for the age of Pisces. 2 millennia later, Venus again called it. I realize not everyone is on board with this interpretation. There are people who honestly believe we don't reach the age of Aquarius for centuries, even though an age should only be, a little over 2,000 years, and it's been about that long. Humor me if you can. Since March 2017, Venus divided the zodiac into the same fifths as the five Ahau of the Maya, periods of 5,125 years, both cycles landing on and beginning at the first of Aries. So we should prepare for whatever fireworks follow. The Mayan tile shows we enter the crossfire near summer solstice between the two solar eclipses. Enki's gate to heaven opens for business, and Crux, like everything but the pivot, must trade sides. And you see how the Vav was remembered on the Neolithic axe. It became the nail of the Phoenicians, an easy way to remember the last time Aquila ate Orion. Eagle got the snake, or the two traded places. Both figure in the tale of Etana by the Sumerians. Eagle and serpent lived in the tree of life, one in the branches and one at the roots, and as on the third page of the Dresden Codex of the Maya. The two swore an oath to be friends and care for each other's children while the other was out hunting. And the agreement worked until one day Aquila decided to eat serpent's children. And Serpent Orion appealed to Shamash, and Shamash told the serpent to hide at Taurus for when the sky tipped, capturing the eagle and throwing him into a pit without his feathers. Eagle appealed from the pit, so Shamash sent a king named Etana to help. Etana nursed Aquila back to health. The king wanted a son from his barren wife to succeed him, so Aquila invited him to heaven to grab a magic plant from the goddess Venus Ishtar, and king got his son, and Aquila took Etana back to heaven to live as a god. The ancients were too smart by half. For instance, here's a 1,500-year-old seal saying, watch out, for something that literally just happened a few days ago. A Neptune moon at the first of Aries. I mean, who ever heard of a Neptune moon? And yet there's a similar stone on the last slide. The ancients somehow knew about the planet Neptune many centuries before we discovered it and left the stone as a note to their future selves. It has a Christian symbol at the top, a symbol that pops up on early Christian tombs and bone boxes. These Nazarenes apparently didn't do gematria like their Kabbalistic brethren in the temple.
I just want to pause this for a second. This is what I've understood, paying attention to all of these different cultures, is that they're showing us the tree of life. They're consistently showing us the tree of life. You see that? It's layer upon layer. So it's the celestial event. There's the cosmic cross. There's the squatter man image. And you can see the tree of life. This is the tree of life.
So Ayin could be 16, or the 16th letter of the Aramaic alphabet instead of the 70 of the Jews. And that way, when they saw the sign, they could remember John 3:16. I have a Hongshan stone that looks like a dagger with drilled holes for the Trinity descending like a string of pearls from the head of Leo. And though you might think we have no idea in what order they issue from the head of the sun, we have a pretty good idea that it will be Holy Spirit first, Son of God second, and the dragon being replaced by the beast last.
Okay, for those of you who are here for the live stream, I went ahead and left the link in the chat to watch the rest of the stream, and he's going to go into more depth about this particular alignment for this pole shift and tie that together. So what else was I going to show you guys? Let me see here. Let's see. Okay. Where is it? So here's some charts that some more charts, some more images. This one is called magnetism. This is someone taking a photo during an eclipse, and it's showing that alignment happening up in the sky. The thing that's interesting to me about some of these photos, I'm going to show you something at the end. I don't know if you guys can see. It's just the same things. It's all electromagnetism. Everything is electric. Oh, don't step on my keyboard. Go that way. Go on. There you go. Here's that image again. Someone caught this at night on the side of the moon. Mr. MBB333 shared that with us. This is a Planet X watcher. She catches this in the screen. This is all about the tree of life. Mathematics. Frequency, vibration. They leave us clues. They give us hints. I mean, even look up here on the left-hand corner. That reminds me of the photo that I showed you earlier of a brand new star being born. I personally think each one of us are a universe. That's what this is showing me anyway. Each one of us is a star. And the Creator lives the experience through us. And maybe there are many, many layers, many versions of us. See, look at that. It's a new star being born. Many trees of lives. See this one? This is creation right here. The whole thing. Here's the whole enchilada. All the Fibonacci, the geometry, the magnetism. This is on top of a building in a temple. Here's with the Birkeland currents. Yep. Earth is the magnet. So here, what does this one say? The science philosophy behind discovering the Hebrew alphabet. The atom comes into the dimension during one of those spikes as it crosses the x-axis. So cool. And then look at that, all that energy from that global electric circuit. So much power. I haven't seen this album for a while. Just looking through it myself. Oh, just more weather. That's enough of that. Okay. Well, that was all I had for you guys today, was just tying together that all religions and cultures are worshiping and receiving information from the same exact experience. And I don't understand why we're all fighting over having one way of understanding it. Anyway, everyone have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
In the moonlit night, I gaze up above to the twinkling stars where you're watching from. Daddy, can you hear me? I'm singing for you. Every word I sing, it's all about you. Ooh, yeah. When I close my eyes, I can feel your touch. Your spirit surrounds me. It means so much. I remember our days, dancing hand in hand. Oh, Daddy, I miss you. I hope you understand. Ooh, yeah. I still remember when I was a child.